Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to this video, the second video I've made about this Weetabix Meta, Reximex Meta. It's a PCP. I don't usually do PCPs, but I need one for an upcoming thermal vision and infrared and everything amazing scope that I'm being sent for review by DNT Optics. So I decided to get one. It's been years since I've had dozens of PCPs, literally dozens. I do like them. It's just that with my business being specifically tuning kits for spring rifles, it's not something I've had recently. So I thought I'll get myself a PCP. And I spent possibly 2 weeks down that particular rabbit hole. I asked on forums, I asked people I knew. I think I even asked you lot at one point what your opinions were. In the end, I asked Dan. Big Dan's air guns, you know him, you watch his channel, he's brilliant. I had a chat with him and said, look, I wanted to do this. This black ugly thing. Oh, I hate black ugly guns. But so many of them are like this now that when you start looking at the traditional looking air rifles, you think, bloody hell, that looks huge. And it's not about looks anyway, apparently. So this is what I ended up with. And Dan said, well, the great thing about Dan's air guns, okay, he sells guns. It's not that he's trying to sell you one, because I actually bought this from Ballistas in Chechnya. I live in France. It's easier for me to get stuff posted within the EU, and Ballistas is the largest online shop, I believe, for air rifles in the EU. Fantastic service. I ordered this on Monday, which was a bank holiday. It's Friday lunchtime. It's arrived. Brilliant. I'm going to be using them again. But speaking to Dan, the thing is, he sells them, but he also deals with after sales. So he was able to say to me, because I didn't know what to get, you know, should I splurge a couple of thousand on an FX, or just a couple of £100 on a Numerex, or somewhere in between? And he was actually able to point out to me some expensive makes that you'd think, well, that's going to be good, actually aren't. Some of the models are really struggling with problems, and he was able to tell me, so I was able to not fall down that particular route. So if you're looking at buying something, I would suggest having a word with him. Apart from anything else, he's probably got it in stock, and he'll be able to do you a deal. But he did tell me that Kral are good, and the other Turkish maker, which are quite good, were Reximex. Now, to be fair, he was talking about the Reximex Uglier, which is called the Throne here in Europe land, and this is the Meta Plus, which Reximex tout as being the target orientated version of the Throne. So I thought, I'll get the Meta. To be fair, Dan then said, but don't get the Meta. Too late, sorry Dan. But it's all right, it's all right. Now, if you missed the first part of this, the unboxing, it was just 20 minutes of me swearing and trying to struggle with a massive box, so I'm not going to put that out. I've done my swearing, I've had this apart, and I've addressed a couple of issues. Now, the gun itself, let's go over that first. It's a bullpup. This one's in 22 caliber. It's 42 joules, which is about 30 foot-pounds, so not particularly powerful for a high-powered air rifle. But that's okay. I don't want it to be high powered. I'm actually probably going to try and wind this back to 20 joules, 15.5 foot-pounds, which is where the power limit is here, simply because it will use less air and it will be quieter. That's, you know, this is for use in the garden for enjoyment. So the more shots I get per charge, the better. And also, rather than using heavyweight pellets or slugs, you know, things that are quite fashionable at the moment with PCPs, I would just be happy to get it whizzing along at a nice 800 feet a second or so, just with a standard 15 grain-ish pellet. I'm only going to be, well, I will be shooting rats and stuff with it, but it's mainly going to be for targets, which is why I got the Meta. Now, I've got a lovely AR-15 style grip here. Okay, nice and soft, a soft touch feel. I've got walt rails all over it so I can fix whatever accessories I want. I've got my tripod on there at the moment to keep it upright while I'm talking. I've got an adjustable in every which way butt plate. These little arms adjust around. I've actually got it now, so it's that's for me is comfortable. Okay, I did manage to get it a couple of times. It felt like I was being attacked by a crab, and not a happy crab. The cheek piece is adjustable. I've got it to the correct height for the scope. I've taken the scope off for the moment, but I will be using my Vector Optics Hugo 6 to 24 by 50 on this. I've taken it off because I'm going to be taking this apart in a minute. And taking the scope off was just another embuggerance I didn't need. This adjusts outwards, up and down. But what I really like just a little bit of tat at the back through. That's what made me buy this over the Uglier. Maybe I should have got the Uglier, but anyway, look at this. Look, I've got this here. I've got a little stick that sticks out the bottom, so I can do that up, and then by turning that, I can minutely adjust the uppy downiness of the gun, which means for shooting it off a bench, which is what I will be doing, it's going to be a rock steady platform. That's the theory. Okay, that's the theory. It comes with two 12-shot magazines, a single shot loader, which is in there at the moment. It is side locking, cocking there, and that arm can be changed from one side of the other. Part of the adjustability of this gun, it is adjustable every which way, and there goes that. It's got no air in it, none at all. And I've got an electric compressor arriving on Monday. I'll be reviewing it, I'll be filling this up, and then we're going to do some shooting with it. So that's adjustable, this is adjustable, that part's adjustable, this goes in and out, up and down, round and round, every which way. I've got rails all over it. I've got a shrouded barrel. I've got a half-inch hay fever, half-inch by UNF thread at the front there if I want to add a moderator. Until I get air, I don't know. I've got a Gert big bottle at the front here for keeping my air in. Then I've got a 90cc extra bit here, which is a pre-chamber. So I've got a pressure gauge on here for my regulator for what's inside of there. I've got a pressure gauge at the front here for what's inside the bottle. And I've got power adjusters everywhere. And I've got everything turned down to 1, and we're going to see what power that gives. I know it's going to be about 30 foot-pound with a heavyweight pellet at maximum, and at that it will do 185 shots per fill. I'm hoping I can get it down to half of that, about 20 joules, 15 foot-pounds, lovely and quiet, and maybe get 300 shots of fill out of it, just firing normal, bog standard, and importantly cheap air rifle pellets. So why have I had it apart? Why was I swearing? All of this I've told you about so far is awesome. Okay, don't get me wrong. I got this, including postage, for a shade under £600. Brand new, multi-shot, all this stuff, regulated, pre-chamber, blah, 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 air rifle. And all this adjustability, and you think that's going to be brilliant. This is going to be target supreme. Then I tried firing it, and the trigger was, frankly, I try not to use a bad word here, it was not very good. The first stage kind of came back, and then you thought, oh, was that a stop? Is that the second stage? I'll carry on pulling for a while. A little while later, you're still pulling out. Well, what's going to bang? There it went. Oh, you're joking me. So anyway, I've got out my book of words, right? Trigger adjustment is these 4 lines here. Okay, 4 lines. Let me read them to you. First, remove the grip area using an Allen wrench, bottom of the grip. After removing the grip area successfully, trigger sensitivity adjustment may be done using an Allen wrench as shown on the picture. Line 4, remount the grip using the 5.5mm pipe key. It's got a couple of pictures there. I don't know what they're of, but they're not this gun. Let me show you. Let me show you what I had to do to get this halfway decent. And it is. I mean, I'm moaning and I'm twisting, But the trigger's actually, I'm happy with it now. But to say this has a 4-way adjustable trigger is a damn right lie. Downright lie, even. Ooh, you bugger. Come off of that. It really, I mean, what it is, I'll show you what they mean by this 4-way adjustable trigger. This trigger blade here has got a little Allen key on this side. If you loosen that, it can go up or down and turn left or right. That's the 4 ways of adjustment. There's no travel adjustment, there's no first stage adjustment, no second stage adjustment, no tensioning adjustment, no weight adjustment. There is no trigger adjustment that we recognize as air gunners in this unit. Not there, at least. So let me take this apart now and show you what needs to be done if you get one of these. And I'm not saying don't get one of these, because actually I still like it. I haven't fired it yet. I still love it. I think it looks awesome in a very, very ugly way. Some would say it's uglier than an HW35. I'm not one of those. You know, this isn't quite that bad. What do you think? Is this as bad as an HW35? Nah, of course it's not. Come out of there. Right. First thing we need to do that it didn't mention in there is I've actually got a cross-headed screw. Whoops. And a plastic bit covering up there. Then I've got an Allen key down inside of here to remove the pistol grip. Now they do give you Allen keys. They're made of cheese Allen keys, and none of them are long enough to reach this bolt. Another silly thing. You know, if you're going to put tools in there, lovely, great. We like a tool. But first of all, if they don't actually reach the bits you're telling us to do, what's the point? And secondly, if they're made of cheese, it's just not worth it. So that comes off. From the instructions, you remove that bit and you think, I am now looking for my 4-way trigger adjustment. Guess what? It ain't there. The next thing I need to do is remove the actual, or at least loosen the blade. There. And then I need to undo an Allen bolt here. Okay, this is holding the trigger guard on. This was all done by trial and error, because I take guns apart all the time. I'm not afraid of taking guns apart. Oh, and also, this is completely empty of air. I know it's completely empty of air because I've fired it and all the dials say 0 and I've had the bottle off. No air at all. If you're thinking of mucking around inside your PCP, first of all, think twice. Secondly, you cannot check enough times to make sure there's no air in it. This stuff is dangerous. This isn't a Springer. This is effectively a bomb on the front of your gun. I don't want to scare people. I just don't want people going into something and then undoing a nut and everything goes like that. It's not good. So we have undone and taken off the trigger guard at the front, which means I can now lift away my trigger blade. You can see there is no adjustment there whatsoever. Not a jot, not a Johnny. So now I have got two. It'll have to be the cheese one, isn't it? I've got 2 Allen bolts at the back. This one here, the one closest to the trigger, is for the innie-outie of the rear adjusty bit. So it's the one at the very back we need to remove. I've got my tens machine, by the way. What an awesome piece of kit that is. Loving it. Shoulder still aches a bit, but in the evening I can just put it on for half an hour before bed and get a decent night's sleep. So if you have chronic pain of any kind, buy a tens machine. Do a review on it if you want. It's only about 30 quid as well. Are you out yet? Are we done? It's not a very easy one to access because of this bit here. Talk amongst yourselves. I know this is going to sound like I'm dissing the gun because I got quite annoyed with it while I was trying to set it all up and stuff like that, but it's partly the instructions being bad, it's partly the lies in the instructions, and it's partly because it's a bullpup. And if you know anything about bullpups, you'll know that the trigger is attached to the trigger gubbins, the sears and stuff, by a length of old bent wire in the centre here. And that's what we have on this. Now, I had this unit apart. I've had that inspection cover off. I've had everything out, and I have greased it. I've smooth greased and cleaned using Weihrauch HW2000 inside of there. And I can tell you that now that is smooth. Okay, it's just lovely, or lovelier. It was a bit gritty, a bit notchy. A clean and a lubrication gets that working. So I searched everywhere for adjustment and I couldn't find any. But these here, you've got two rods, one at the back, one at the front, and they're connected by this nut. Now, this nut has a special name, which I have gone and forgotten. But it's one where you turn it one way and it pulls the two pieces. It effectively shortens the rod. Turn it the other way and it lengthens the rod. And what I did was spend 10 minutes going quarter turn, test, quarter turn, test, quarter turn, test in both directions until I was happy. And what I've ended up with is not a two-stage trigger because it was all cack. I've got a very nice, almost crisp single stage trigger. Now, I'm used to single stage triggers with centre fire and shotgun, so that is not a problem. I like it. You take up the tension, it goes. That's what I've got on my BMR22. I've just bought the Burgerer. You'll be seeing that next week. That is amazingly accurate. And I'm hoping this is going to be the same. But that is it. That is what I had to do. I've cleaned the gubbins inside of there to make it cock smoother, and I had to get this far into the gun just to get the trigger somewhere sensible. And I wanted to tell you that because I don't know if anybody has said that before. It is very much, so far, bearing in mind I've got no air in it and I haven't fired any pellets onto paper with it yet, it is so far still worth the money. But if I had known that this did not have a four-way adjustable target trigger like what it is advertised as having, I might have thunk differently. But now that I know it can be turned into a decent single stage, I might still have bought it. In fact, I probably would still have bought it because I'm still happy that I bought it. I don't have buyer's regret. The gun feels fantastic, seems very well made. All the parts are nicely finished, no sharp edges. Not like a Gammo or a BSA, you know, it is properly nicely built. But next, we need to test it. We need to get some air into this and we need to put some pellets onto paper. And I'm hoping you're going to join me for that. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. The next video will probably be showing you the pump because I've got an electronic compressor which should be able to pump this up. And then we're going to be outside because the sun's out next week in the high 20s all week, so it's going to be groovy. We're going to start doing some shooting videos. We're going to get out there and actually do some shooting. Winter's over, spring's here, and it'll be awesome. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.